Hello all, welcome to an overview of USU's Teacher Credential Preparation Program. We're very grateful that you chose United States University. I'd like to start with the USU mission. Please take a minute to read that and to understand what our university is based on. As you can see, our university works to serve the underserved populations, and they truly work towards making education affordable and available to all. The College of Ed mission is much of the same. I'd like you to read that to understand what we expect of you. Understanding this, that our expectations are that you are an educator, that you practice civic responsibility, that you put your students first, that you understand the importance of research and practice, and that you are a caring educator that works to make sure that all of your students get the best possible education. And then the TCPP mission, which I'll read to you. The mission of the TCPP is to develop highly effective, ethical, and reflective credential candidates to meet the needs of a diverse student population by utilizing research-based best practices to ensure the success of all students. This is a very important mission, and you will see this practiced in all of your courses. Our leadership is Dr. Rebecca Wardlow. She is the Dean of the College of Education. Rebecca has many years in education, from being a classroom teacher. She's also a bilingual teacher. She was a school principal for many years, and she has also been in higher education leadership for many years as well. You also find that Rebecca is very accessible. So if you have questions, you can always reach out to her. You'll also find that she might be teaching one of your courses, or she might be your university supervisor. She's very hands-on, and she will be there to help you out. As myself, again, I'm Kathleen Kelly, and I've met most of you through our course. So please contact me with any and all questions you have about the program, about student teaching, about your courses, whether I'm your instructor at that time or not. So please know that I am always available. To give you an overview of the program, many of you have signed up for 2 courses at a time. And if you are doing the 2 courses at a time, you're in for 6 terms or 12 months. And that is dependent, though, also to when your student teaching terms fall. So if your student teaching happens during the summer, we might have to change that time a little bit, because there's not as many opportunities to student teach in July, as I'm sure you can imagine. As you see your courses there for both multiple subject and single subject, those are the 2 at a time that you'll be taking. And if you choose to make a change during the program and to go to 1 course at a time for one reason or another, that is also an opportunity. The only time that it's not an opportunity is when you are student teaching, because you will be doing your student teaching and your seminar at the same time. Those are concurrent. So again, the other option is 1 course at a time, which would be 10 terms or 20 months, still under 2 years to get your credential and to be in the classroom. And as you can see, the courses still follow the same sequence. Once again, student teaching and the seminar would also have to be at the same time. That is the one and only time that you would have to take the 2 courses at the same time. I just want to point out for my multiple subject candidates that you will see that EDU 536, the Language Arts and Reading course, is early in your program to give you some time to take that course before you take the RECA exam. The RECA exam is just required for our multiple subject candidates. So the requirements, as you know, your admissions are that you should have passed or attempted to pass the CBEST, which is the California Basic Skills Test. You also have to have a TB test and a fingerprint clearance. This is a requirement for all schools, which is why it's a requirement for our district or for our program, is to make sure that you have these requirements done. Now, before student teaching, you must have passed 2 of the 3 CSETs previous to student teaching. we would prefer that you have all three taken before student teaching, because once you get into student teaching, you are very busy, and taking another exam can be a bit of a challenge. So truly, we would like to have those finished before you get into the classroom. If you're a multiple subject candidate, you will also need to take the RECA previous to your student teaching, and then all candidates will need the CPR certification as well. During your student teaching, all California teachers are required to complete the EdTPA. And the EdTPA is an assessment that's a national assessment, and we'll be going over that a little bit later in the program, but please note that that will be done during your first term student teaching, and your first seminar is focused completely on the EdTPA, so you will have support for that. And then at the end of student teaching, you will do an exit survey and an exit interview with myself or with the dean to talk about the program and your experience and your student teaching, and make sure that all of your paperwork is all together to submit to the CTC to get that preliminary credential. You'll find that technology is a big part of our program, and that is because we are an online program. So you will be using a variety of tools in all of your courses. The point of this is not only for your experience, but also to give you a variety of tools that you'll be able to use in your own classroom. Some of these might be new to you. Some of these might be something you're very comfortable with. So please start to build this library and to build your understanding of these tools, and always reach out if any of these are a challenge. As you know, you must complete the program with a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or above. There are no exceptions to this rule. This is a requirement. However, we understand that things happen, and there are some courses that might not be as strong for you for one reason or another. So this is cumulative. So if you have a course that you end up with a C, and as long as we end up with an A in another class and that evens itself out, you're going to be just fine. However, please talk with your instructors and myself. You're going to find that your instructors will work with you. So please do not hang back. Please reach out to your instructors if you feel like you need additional support or time or whatever it may be. I want you to take a few minutes to go through your social media and to clean up anything that might be questionable. I can tell you right now that your soon-to-be cooperating teacher and principal will do a search for you online. And I have had students in the past that have had information on their social media sites that have been questionable. And I know that it was a concern of their principal or cooperating teacher. So please take that time to go through and clean things up previous to accepting a role as a student teacher. Now, here's the big thing, is the placement, your student teaching placement. So I'm going to start with, if you already have a connection with a school, whether you're in a school right now and there's a possibility that you can student teach there, I would like you to reach out to me as soon as possible, because if you do, we might as well solidify that as soon as possible. So California requires that you must student teach in a classroom that is reflective of California itself. Therefore, it must be a diverse placement. So it's not a hard and fast rule at the numbers, but we're looking at about 10% ELL, 10% at a special needs, and 10% low income. So that's the average. Now, if you have a school in mind that is close to that, please contact me and we'll take a look at it together and see if that's something that the CTC will allow, the California Teaching Commission. The Office of Field Experience and myself will help you find that placement if you do not have any connections. So what we'll do then is send out a form to you to say what schools are near you, because we want to make sure that it's best for you. What schools are near you, what districts are you interested in, and then we will work on that together to get you an appropriate placement. Student teaching itself is 2 8-week terms. So it's a total of 16 weeks, 600 hours. This is not our rule. This is not our requirements. This is the state of California. So you will be in the classroom for 16 complete weeks. So when it comes time for student teaching, you're going to have to look at a work schedule. You're going to have to figure out a childcare schedule. You're going to have to figure this out because you will be working the teacher's hours for those 16 weeks. So look ahead to see when your student teaching falls so that you can plan accordingly. I'd like you to look at this. This is kind of the arc of what you will do during your student teaching. Is the first couple of weeks, you'll do some planning with your cooperating teacher, probably work with individuals or small groups. And then slowly but surely, in the next couple of weeks, if you're in the multiple subject classroom, you will pick up one subject at a time. If you are a single subject, you will pick up one period at a time. And then you'll just slowly but surely build up until that 8 to 11 weeks, somewhere in there. That is not a hard and fast rule. It is just somewhere in there to what works best for you and your cooperating teacher and the calendar, of course. So what CTC requires is that you will do a minimum of 4 full weeks of full-time student teaching. So you will be in charge of the classroom as the teacher for 4 full weeks. That means everything. If there is bus duty or if there is any kind of after school requirements that your cooperating teacher has, you will have those too. You will be in charge for that entire 4 weeks. And then after that, somewhere around weeks 12 through 14, you'll slowly but surely return things to your cooperating teacher. It will not be, oh, here you go, I'm done. It'll be when a natural break happens, maybe at the end of a unit or at a holiday or whatever it may be. But it'll be a slow but sure return to your cooperating teacher. And then the last week or two, we will have you give everything back, and you will do much of what you did in the very first couple of weeks. You'll work with small groups, but more importantly, we'll have your cooperating teacher help you find opportunities to observe other teachers. So we'll get you out within your school so you can see other grade levels, other subjects, other wonderful teachers, look at other classrooms, and start to build your library of strategies and the environment and things like that that you can look at when you're in another classroom. So that EdTPA seminar. So EdTPA is a requirement for the state of California. We have EdTPA and then we also have the CalTPA. The EdTPA is the national version, so should you choose to go elsewhere, this will certainly count. So what this is it is an assessment that shows that you understand the importance of planning, teaching, and assessment, and then reteaching. So all of these components will be demonstrated in a document based on one particular subject and 3 to 5 lessons. So you will create 3 to 5 lessons that'll show all of these things. And that first seminar will give you a step-by-step guide to what you need to complete, how you need to complete it, verbiage that you need to use, how to submit, all of that. It is a challenging topic. It is a challenging assessment, which is why we have you do it first semester of student teaching, so you can knock that out before you do your full time. Oh, more about the EdTPA. So again, so you'll be doing your planning, your instructing, your assessing. And if you are a multiple subject candidate, then you will be showing 2 different areas. You will be showing learning, student learning in both math and language arts. So that extra piece is because you are teaching more, so they need to make sure, the state of California needs to make sure that you are set and ready. The things that you will cover, again, are planning, which you work on in all of your courses. instruction, which you will be doing during your student teaching, assessment, which again, you've been working on in your courses. And then you're going to take the time to reflect and talk about the analysis of your teaching, the reflection of your teaching, what went well, what would you change? And then lastly, academic language is another big portion of the Ed TPA. So not just vocabulary, but making sure that your ELL students and all students are understanding not just the content, but the process as well. USU has 3 different lesson plans. The first one is a very, very detailed 4-page lesson plan to help you understand all that needs to go into one lesson. It is very detailed. I don't want to say tedious, but it is very detailed. But the point there is to get you to understand all that needs to be included. And then as you progress through the program, then we will switch you to a less detailed version. And this is the one that you will use for your Ed TPA also, because more of this will become innate and you'll know what you're doing. And then lastly, during your student teaching, you will use an abbreviated version because you will not have time to do the detailed version. So please be aware of this and know that you will work through and progress to the less detailed version. And then again on those seminars 1 and 2, seminar 1 is that asynchronous Ed TPA class, more or less. So you will work on that asynchronously just as you have been your other courses. So that way you can go back and look at material, or if you're not teaching until week 4 and your peers are teaching week 2, then you're not set on the exact same schedule. So this gives you a little bit more flexibility to complete the Ed TPA within those 8 weeks. And best about that course is you have an instructor, even though it's asynchronous, that'll help guide you and review your materials, what can be reviewed before you do the actual submission. And then seminar 2 will be during your student teaching as well, and that one is synchronous. You will have some work to do within the course, but then you will also meet with your university supervisor and your instructor as well. And you will work together to figure out a day and a time that will work for the cohort. This is not optional. This is mandatory. You will be determining what days and times work best for you. So all of these meetings must be attended. This again is a requirement to complete student teaching successfully. And since we're not meeting together right now, if you have any questions, please get back to me and let me know, and I will be more than happy to help you with anything that you may have, because I'm sure that this brought up quite a few questions, and maybe you're thinking about where you should student teach or not sure what grade level that you would like to student teach. And that's one more thing that I'd like to just cover is the state of California has now allowed us to have one placement. So you will be in one classroom for all 16 weeks, unless you feel like you need 2 different placements. For example, if you're multiple subject and you want to do a placement in 5th grade and in kindergarten, you want to do something that diverse. If that's the case, then USU will help you secure and complete one of those student teaching experiences. But if you would like to do 2, you just feel the need to do 2, then you will need to find that second one on your own. So keep that in mind if that's something that you want to do. Again, there's my contact information. Please let me know of any questions you may have, and I will be happy to help you.